Thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound. And I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. It made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here. But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We were together almost 3 hours, and it was very extensive, and we agreed on a lot of points. I mean, a lot of points were agreed on, but there's not that much. There's, one or two pretty significant items, but I think they can be reached. Now it's really up to President Zelensky to get it done. And I would also say the European nations, they have to get involved a little bit, but it's up to President Zelensky. I think we are, and if they'd like, I'll be at that next meeting. They're going to set up a meeting now between President Zelensky and President Putin.
Hi amazing people, hope you're doing fine. Welcome to this channel. Thank you for clicking to today's episode. I go by the name Milka. So yesterday Donald Trump and Russian President Putin held a closed door meeting. The aim of the meeting is to look for solutions on how they can end the fight between Ukraine and Russia. And my dear, a few months ago, Donald Trump still met with Zelensky, Ukraine president, in his Oval Office in White House. Trump had an aim to support Ukraine's war. Zelensky came to seek reassurance and continued U.S. assistance in resisting Russia's invasion, while Trump aimed to push for a ceasefire and a swift path toward peace. It really didn't work out because Trump pushed for ceasefire with Russia and emphasized shifting U.S. involvement away from an open-ended military commitment. Zelensky asked for continued security and military aid, but the talks collapsed after Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance accused him of not being ready for peace. Instead of confirming new aid, the Trump administration actually suspended U.S. military and intelligence assistance to Ukraine right after the failed meeting. As of now, Washington hasn't reinforced the aid under Trump's leadership, and Ukraine is left seeking alternative sources of support from Europe and other allies. Let's go back to yesterday's incidents of Donald Trump and Russian President Putin. After nearly 3 hours of closed-door discussion, the summit ended without any formal ceasefire or peace deal for Ukraine. Both leaders described the meeting as productive or a sign of progress, but remained vague on detail. Trump, in follow-up remarks, emphasized that there is no deal until there is a deal. The press conference lasted only around 10 to 12 minutes, with both presidents delivering brief statements and facing no reporter questions. Putin spoke first, a choice that drew additional criticism. They really never allowed the reporters to ask them questions because I guess they never wanted to portray the information that they had agreed between themselves. But it's really crazy why they they had to put down the reporters' questions. Trump later stated that the best way forward might be a direct peace agreement bypassing a ceasefire, a position that diverged from Ukrainian and European approaches. He also hinted at further talks potentially involving Zelensky and European leaders, even as he downplayed negotiating on Ukraine's behalf. Most important one, he says that they're gonna stop thousands of people per week from being killed. So we don't know if it's from Ukraine or from Russia. Let me know if you're in Alaska or you have come across this information. What do you think? Is he really going to support both Ukraine and Russia, or he is going to be one-sided? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. Consider subscribing for more updates. Till next time. Bye.